obviously we have a very, very special speaker tonight. In many circles, John is really, truly a person who needs no introduction. And then in some other audiences, he's a person who maybe needs quite a bit of explaining.
Some other that might be
Yeah.
99.9%. Yes,
right.
yes.
And so this audience maybe falls a little bit into that latter camp. Maybe I'll split the difference. So obviously you know that John is a world famous philosopher and theologian. His humility will prevent him from saying so exactly, but he really is the godfather of process theology. He is the world's leading expert on process thought in general. As a matter of fact, Claremont is the world center for process studies. And the actual physical location of the Process Center is up here at the Claremont School of Theology, which John helped to found. So you probably already know that about him, but he is becoming, if not already, is equally as famous for his environmental work. John was an environmentalist before there were environmentalists, I think. And a lot of the policies that he's put into place have become just sort of common commercial knowledge nowadays. And he has, as you mentioned to me on several occasions, felt like he's finally making a breakthrough in a corner of the world that I think we as Americans don't necessarily think of as a place that follows ecologically sound practices, and that is in China. But I think John has a different perspective on that. There are a couple of environmental groups that John is very much affiliated with. It's this ecological civilization. I always get the name of that one. Just ecological civilizations.
Well,
is
Institute for Ecological.
The Institute for Ecological Civilizations is one. And then he is the chairman still of Pando Populus. Yeah, both of which, especially the latter, are local groups that have had quite a bit of worldwide reach. And they dovetail very much with process thought. I'm not going to explain to you exactly what process thought is. I think that would be a little ridiculous with the world's leading expert sitting here. But suffice it to say that it is a major movement in both philosophy and theology. Tomorrow is John's 93rd birthday. And he is still working to save the planet. If the irony of that is lost on you, I'd be happy to explain it to you after the talk. But I think that goes to show you a little bit about the kind of person that John is and the kind of heart that he has. And for as wonderful of an intellect as he has, I think it is even surpassed by his heart. And it's his heart that I know really more than the academic side of him. For as much as I had to study of him when I was in school, not that I didn't enjoy every word of it, but I don't know John as well as an academic as I do as a person. John and I had a mutual friend who, I can't believe it, it's been almost 10 years, who he passed away. And I was very close with the family, and we asked John to come in and officiate the memorial service, because, oh, by the way, he's also a Methodist minister. And John did a beautiful job with that, and then some years later, the brother of this man then passed away, and I was very, very close with him. As a matter of fact, he was like a second father to me, and where to go, and I was just devastated, and I truly did not know what to do with myself. So I contacted John, and John took me under his wing, and he shepherded me through that time, and he very wisely, looking back on it, did something for me in that he gave me just little tasks to do. The first of which was he had me just water his plants and clean out his spam email one time when he was in China, actually being received. I don't know if it was you were being received by the vice president at that time. But John is a frequent consultant of the Chinese government on so far as their environmental policies are concerned. And so I did that, and that was shortly after this man's passing. And then he got home from that conference, and he was planning another conference, and he gave me some other tasks to do. And I did those, and those tasks turned into slightly larger jobs. And then John introduced me to the director of Pandopopulous, and wanted me to get involved with that. But at that time, I had already had this wild hair of an idea to do this thing that we now call Middle Tree. And obviously we've done that in the time since. So you can see that, at least I can see very clearly now in hindsight, that John really gave me the strength and the courage and the permission to embark on a path that I never saw really for myself. I left professional academia. I left a degree that I was in hot pursuit of, and got another degree that I thought to me meant actually a lot more, and that was really more where my heart was at. And John, I think, saw before I did that this endeavor could potentially be just as, if not more impactful than my original intention. So you can see that I don't really have a way to thank or repay John for any of those kindnesses. All I can really do is share them with all of you, and that's why I've asked you here tonight. So
I can assure you that creating an institution like this is far more repayment than I want. No, not that I want, but that I'm glad for it to be as big as it is. I do worry it may get too big for you to handle.
As we've talked about, but we'll I'm sure hash that one out at some point soon. So, anyways, well, all that being said, here's a man who, outside of that, I suppose, needs no introduction. Dr.